And temperatures this afternoon here in Newcastle city centre of 18 degrees. Blue skies up above and blue shirts of Chelsea. Cole Palmer to get us underway in a match that is huge for both. 4th against 5th. Little separating them in the standings. Both chasing top 5 and Champions League. BBC Radio Newcastle and the Newcastle United website and app. Chelsea with a cross from the right from Pedro Neto. Took a deflection off Tino Livramento. A corner given after 20 seconds. And the fans to our right hand side in the Milburn Gallagher corner, as you might expect, not happy with the decision. And Chelsea with an early set piece to test Newcastle United with an extra central defender in the team today in Sven Botman, so more height at the back. Palmer is on this right hand side. Long sleeves for Palmer, long shorts as well, and his white socks pulled right up. Can't even see his knees. Red boots, stands dangerously, could get it short from Enzo Fernandez. Every black and white shirt back in the box. Referee on the far side of the penalty area keeping watch. Here's Enzo's corner, which is an outswinger, headed away by Jacob Murphy, corner of the 6-yard box. Palmer back in, headed up by Botman, caught by Pope to the right hand side of his goal. Newcastle 0, Chelsea 0 after 90 seconds. Overarm throw from Pope to Livramento on this left hand side. Chipped in behind for Gordon to chase. Gordon gets there before Caicedo. Good challenge. Hooked the ball away from Gordon. Chelsea bring it clear. Tonali wins it back though. Bruno edge of the area. Barnes, and it runs for Murphy. Low cross. Tonali! Sandro Tonali inside 2 minutes with a massive goal. After Gordon was challenged, Tonali helped to win it back. And Murphy played it over from the right. And there was the Italian to turn it in. What a start at St James's, just what they needed. 2 minutes gone, Newcastle United 1, Chelsea 0.
Well, Lavia tries to do a trick on the edge of his penalty area, gets his pocket pinched, and they just recycle it. Murphy gets on that overlap, ball back post. Tonali's never missing, is he? It's a tap in for him. Great start.
Well, Gordon was in, but Caicedo recovered. And then Tonali won it back. Strong play. And Bruno involved. Barnes may have got a touch. Tonali's onside from Murphy's cross. And he comes in left side, 6 yards out into the back of the net. 1-0 up. Early goal in the early kickoff. Don't mind them. But it's
great
like
time,
this.
Great time to kick off.
VAR is checking.
No way.
We've seen it again. He looks onside to me.
He's a million miles onside.
Goal stands.
It's ridiculous.
I think the graphics on the screen at the Leazer's end are a bit behind what's actually happening in reality. Free kick for Newcastle in the corner. Defensive right. Murphy fouled. And we told you before the match that it was going to be 3 centre-backs, Murphy and Livramento wing-backs, 2 in midfield. We were reliably told that, and that is what it is.
It is, yeah. Too many changes the other way, Razor. As I said, square pegs and round holes if you go the other way.
Big goal and big noise at St James's. Here's Barnes from Pope's free kick, cleared by Chelsea. Jackson header, Share behind him, wins the ball back for Newcastle, and Byrne receives it from Botman. It's Sven Botman in the middle, just in case you were wondering. That's what we would have anticipated. Botman on the edge of the area now to Share. Got the ball, Newcastle going backwards with it. They've put it out because Harvey Barnes was down. He's picked himself up and has now gone back down, might need some treatment. It was in the challenge after Pope sent the long free kick up the pitch. Referee's gone to check on Barnes, tells Newcastle they can send on their medical team. We've now reached the 5-minute mark. Perfect start, John Anderson, with the early goal.
Yeah, couldn't have asked for a better start. Good energy, good pressing. Win the ball back on the edge of their penalty area. Tonali, great enthusiasm again to win the ball back, and then obviously he's on the end of it to put the ball in the back of the net.
Barnes receiving treatment. So no action at the moment here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Tonali has moved on to 6 goals this season, level with Fabian Schär, which is a good goals tally for a central defender and a central midfielder, I suppose. Still treatment for Barnes. He brought the ball down, got it caught under his studs, then got a kick, accidental from the Chelsea defender Trevor Chalobah, the centre-back. Chalobah, who played against Newcastle for Crystal Palace in November during a loan spell in the first half of the season. Barnes still receiving treatment, helped up to his feet. There's no activity on the bench, but Wilson, Sula and Kraft are warming up in the corner to the left as Jason Tindall calls Anthony Gordon over to the near side for a quick word. Barnes has had to go off the pitch and will be off for 30 seconds before he's allowed back on. Chelsea, sportingly, have returned the ball to Newcastle because it was Fabian Schär who put it out to enable Barnes to receive treatment. 1-0 up in the 7th minute. And Schär comes out to the right touchline to take the throw. Murphy moves up the pitch. Schär to Tonali, chested back to Schär, lifted over halfway, out for a Chelsea throw. Colwill takes it, lobs it into the centre of their half to Chalobah. Started with Pedro Neto on the right and Noni Madueke on the left in terms of wingers. Back to goalkeeper Robert Sanchez from Chalobah, and then lifted by Sanchez over the head of Gordon. Back to Chalobah, driven ball forwards. Botman on the stretch, brings it down well. Livramento, great control, tight control under pressure. Back to Schär, edge of Newcastle's box, looking to get Murphy in wide right. It was a ball that needed to be incredibly precise, and it was just ahead of Murphy, and Chelsea have a throw, which they take, go back to their goalkeeper at the Leazer's end. Sanchez to Caicedo, and now Colwill, who's been mainstay at the heart of the Chelsea defence all seasons, played almost all of their Premier League matches, even if whoever's next to him has changed from game to game. Ball forwards, which Nick Pope claims, no danger there. Here's Byrne to Gordon. Gordon turn away from Caicedo, who's chopped him down in Newcastle's half of the pitch. John Brooks blows the whistle for a free kick. Gordon gets back up. Jason Tindall has a chat with the 4th official. Newcastle coaching staff in dark colours today. Enzo Maresca in a, what's that? Is that a salmon sweatshirt? And navy joggers. Casual and colourful. Maresca. Throw for Newcastle, left hand side, leading 1-0 through Tonali's 2nd minute goal. A win takes them above Man City into 3rd, then they would be just a point behind Arsenal ahead of next Sunday's match at the Emirates Stadium.
Not if Arsenal win today, they won't.
If, that's the next bit, that's the caveat, if Arsenal lose at Liverpool. And we thought Liverpool might beat Chelsea last weekend, but that didn't happen, did it? Now that game's coming up at 4:30, Liverpool at home to Arsenal. Newcastle up to Isak, laid off to Livramento, and a driving run from Livramento through the centre, now to Barnes on the right. Barnes edge of the area, goes for the shot. It hits the shins of Colwill and spins out for a throw near to the corner flag. Gordon wanted the cross, Barnes found room for the effort. Chelsea did the defending. Isak went down in the contact from a defender as it came back to Livramento, but he's back on his feet and taking his place in the penalty area. 10 minutes on the clock. Murphy with the ball in his hands. Barnes making a run. Bruno's there. Tonali comes over. Barnes knocks it down back towards Murphy. Chelsea win it back, then Barnes makes the challenge. Bruno gets it. Tonali wide to Murphy, who controls, has a couple of touches, pushes it up the line for Barnes, cuts inside, left-footed cross, headed away by Colwill, 6-yard box. Back out to Murphy, headed on towards Barnes, back to Murphy again. They've kept it well. Murphy thinking about the delivery, sticks it in there towards Isak, but Colwill clears once again. Dan Burn in the middle of the Chelsea half with a block challenge and then a header to Livramento. On to Gordon, in line with the penalty box, away from Pedro Neto, inside to Livramento. Can he take on the shot? Still Livramento. Back to Tonali, edge of the area. Now Burn. Livramento heads on towards Gordon. Lavia challenges for it and clears. And Chelsea now with Jackson chasing Botman, who lifts it over his shoulder to Burn, inside to Tonali, who controls, passes it back to Cher, now on to Bruno, first time out wide to Murphy, playing some good stuff and looking to double their lead here with Jacob Murphy, up the line to Bruno, low cross, Barnes! Oh, the goalkeeper got out quickly, low down Sanchez and gathered. Palmer on the right hand side, Tonali and Gordon putting him under pressure, and Palmer wins one of those cheap free kicks when he goes down with minimal contact facing his own goal. John Brooks blows the whistle, Chelsea get the decision.
Always just feels the contact and goes down. Referees just they buy into it now. Slightest contact, players fall over. Thought Livramento was going to hit it, Ando, when he cut inside. It opened up for him, didn't it?
Chelsea take the free kick.
Obviously didn't fancy it.
Caicedo's moved into a midfield position. Chalabar on the right. And obviously flexible with the way that they use the players who are lining up at the back. Caicedo is a midfielder. A lot of clubs put a full back into midfield, don't they? Depending on where the play is. Cher, good challenge near to halfway, sets Barnes on his way forwards. Chelsea have a player down. Newcastle continuing. Isak back to Barnes. Here's the cross from wide right. Caicedo header. Bruno brings it down and gets the shot away. And it's wide of Sanchez's right hand post. It was a dipping shot from Bruno after he took a touch on his chest. And the Chelsea player, Enzo Fernandez, gets back up having rolled around.
And he's alright
for a shock. A good few seconds as Newcastle attack wanted the play to be stopped. It didn't happen. They got into another good position and had another chance, but still 1-0 through Tonali's early goal. Header from Madueke from a long ball forwards. Jackson in the middle, near to the centre spot. Passes it to Caicedo on this right hand side. Now Palmer onto his left and into the middle to Lavia and the curly haired Cucurella, far side of the pitch. The boos are because Chelsea are passing it around and it's their first spell of possession. They won a corner after about 20 seconds. It's really been all Newcastle since then. 1-0 up here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Every black and white shirt behind the ball. Now it goes to the right wing to Neto, who was good in the game in the league at Stamford Bridge in October, the former Wolves player. Lavia to Cucurella, 35-40 yards from Nick Pope's goal. Chalabar on it here. They're playing it sideways, left to right, right to left. Now a challenge from Murphy on Madueke, and Cucurella back into his own half. Newcastle push up towards halfway. And Colwill to goalkeeper Sanchez next to the D. Dan Burn, look where Burn's gone. He's followed Palmer right towards the Chelsea box. Long ball forwards, straight onto the head of Sven Botman. Tonali and Bruno exchange passes in the centre circle. And Tonali just finds a bit of space and some time. A ball to Cher. Burns now back into defence, but they go forwards to Bruno. Lavia makes a challenge, Bruno gets away, and now Barnes in between the Chelsea midfield and defence. Barnes, edge of the area to Murphy. Still Jacob Murphy. A shot from Murphy, blocked by Cucurella. Murphy and Isak were almost on top of each other there.
Needed to play it first time. I mean, he's just tried to drill a cross in, hasn't he? As soon as that ball gets played to him, just play it in. There was black and white numbers in there.
Throw in to be taken, 16 minutes. Murphy to Bruno, ball down on the floor, back to halfway. Share inside, it's gone backwards 5 yards or so to Botman, and Byrne to the left of the centre circle. Width from Gordon, who comes to get it near to halfway. Livramento up ahead. Gordon brings it inside, away from Caicedo. Can't attack, has to drop it off to Byrne, and then they go backwards to Botman, still keeping the ball. Turns it out to Share, then on to Murphy. They've got a back five today, Newcastle. Murphy drops his shoulder, comes inside away from Cucurella, up to Isak, wide to Barnes, on towards Isak. Livramento in the middle. Isak just beaten to it, beaten off it
well
by Chalobah. Good defending. And then the clearance, which Share brings down, and on the touchline on the far side, passes it to Nick Pope. Long from the goalkeeper, but that beats everybody. Bounces once, then twice, and caught by Sanchez.
Yeah, it's better off there.
Newcastle 1, Chelsea 0. Sanchez, chipped ball, that's straight to Botman, centre circle, up to Gordon, edge of the area, into Isak. Cucurella, good recovery challenge. Bruno to Isak again, in the penalty area. Isak wide to Barnes. Then Isak again on the 18-yard line to Bruno, goes for the return. Cucurella clears, throw.
Yeah, well played again. Lively, a lot sharper than Chelsea.
They've moved it around well, haven't they? They've zipped it around Newcastle. Good tempo. Share, just ahead of Tonali. First real mistake they've made, United. Pedro Neto. Now Chelsea on the attack. Nicholas Jackson, Madueke in the centre of the box, Jackson on the outside. Jackson's cross beats everybody in the middle, and it comes for Gordon on this near side. He steps over it. Neto and Palmer closing down. Botman to Gordon again, and Bruno spins and is away from Enzo Fernandez, looking to lead Newcastle up the pitch. Captain Bruno still running, still chased by Enzo Fernandez. Bruno pulled down next to the assistant referee on the right wing. Free kick given. Bruno throws his arms up and down at the east stand. The supporters rise to their feet to salute the skipper. He did well, didn't he, to get away. And Botman just being checked on, having been caught late in a challenge. First moment of danger there, I would say.
Yeah, just opened up, didn't it? They just played it through the lines. Jackson's, his first touch was really poor actually, because the ball got away from him. Ball in was poor as well.
Botman's gone forwards, as has Byrne, and Share round the back. The free kick from Tonali, wide on the right. They floated it towards Botman, the free man, headed across the area. Isak volleyed into the ground and up and into the hands of Sanchez. Botman ended up being the free man, and now he's made it.
Chelsea are just
a header forwards to Share from the quick kick out from Sanchez. Bruno with a ball in behind for Gordon, cut out by Chalobah. Caicedo wide to Pedro Neto and back to Chalobah, edge of the area. Yeah, that was a clever free kick, but the effort from Isak lacked the power when the ball was sent back into the turf and back up again. That didn't help.
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea just don't seem to have any idea at this moment in time. Can't get hold of the ball, can't keep it. Been pressed all over the park. It's
been a really strong opening 20 minutes from Newcastle United. No Willock, no Trippier. Gordon and Botman back in. Three central defenders, but leading 1-0. Tonali scoring in the second minute. Chelsea win it back in the United half. They go wide left to Madueke in the corner. Dangerous cross, Livramento, important header away. Palmer, edge of the box, takes a touch, drills a shot that's blocked, then a deflected effort from Palmer. goes out for a corner on the near side. On the follow-up, Palmer denied the first time.
First
Second
real
attempt
bit of danger.
gives him a corner kick.
Yeah, first real bit of danger. You don't want to give him too much room.
They've taken the corner to Palmer, near to the corner of the penalty box. Caicedo with a cross, Pope comes and catches. They're not in a hurry, Newcastle, to get up the pitch. Nick Pope holds on.
Easy take.
Sven Botman to Dan Burn, up the line, 10 yards to Gordon, who's drifted in and closed down by Lavia, the central midfielder. Back to Cher, swept out to Murphy. Barnes making the forward run. Murphy's ball in behind. Oh, what a ball! Sanchez with a scissor kick clearance at the edge of the area.
Good
as Barnes was
goalkeeping.
looking to nip in.
Good goalkeeping. Great ball round the corner by Murphy.
Got it back.
Goalkeeper seen it.
Murphy from the throw after a pass from Tonali. And back down the line to Tonali, who lets it run towards halfway. BBC Radio Newcastle. 1-0 is the lead. Botman to Burn. Chelsea come to try to close down. Tonali in between defenders. Chalobah across. Caicedo away from Isak's tackle in towards the centre circle. Caicedo still with the ball at his feet. And he's got Palmer just ahead of halfway on this near side. Whipped into the centre to Romeo Lavia, just recently returned from third injury absence this season, the 21-year-old Belgian, previously at Southampton. Caicedo for Cucurella, two players they signed from Brighton for big money. Lavia now, left side of central midfield. Livramento keeping a check over his left shoulder on Pedro Neto. Chelsea come over to this side to Chalobah, gets it back from Caicedo. Colwell, the furthest outfield player, back in the centre circle. And then Cucurella turns and decides to go to his goalkeeper. Didn't fancy the forward ball. Doesn't have felt there were any options. Newcastle again push up, and when they push up, Dan Burn follows Palmer into a midfield position. Chelsea get a free kick, and Newcastle think it's soft. Bruno on Lavia from the ball rolled out from the goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's just all over him, isn't he? Dangerous though, playing those balls.
10 yards in front of the box. Now Chelsea looking to get a ball in a channel on the left in between Newcastle defenders. Here's the opportunity for the cross. Botman makes the tackle, and it's an important challenge from Botman on Jackson. Again, that's the out ball towards the left. It was in between Botman and Murphy. Corner kick on the far side for the visitors. It's Pedro Neto. Palmer is the option short. Lots of blue shirts in the middle. It's flat towards the near post area. Jacob Murphy has volleyed it behind, but he sliced it behind.
It was a poor corner as well, wasn't it? Really flat. Hardly got off the ground.
Still 1-0 to Newcastle United. Another corner to defend. Nobody on either post. Pedro Neto again. Chelsea players around the penalty spot make their move. Botman climbs and heads clear. Caicedo takes a touch and drives it wide from about 20 yards.
Good hit. Not on target, but good hit.
24 minutes played. How do you feel about Newcastle's performance
Been
overall?
excellent. Yeah, been very good. Energy levels, when we're at our best, play at that high tempo. It's all been there, hasn't it?
Nick Pope taking his time. Back to the goal line. High ball into the Chelsea half, over the head of Isak. And Cucurella, not the back pass he was intending, went off his right boot up. And then Sanchez, to be fair, dealt with it well, volleyed it clear thumped forwards by Byrne. Chelsea headed inside, Chalobah brings it down, forwards it goes, Jackson onto Botman, Sven Botman pushing the back from Jackson, right under the nose of referee John Brooks. Free kick next to the centre circle. Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall, who's back on the touchline today. Tindall,
are the two of them allowed to be there?
No, they're not. That led to Tindall getting his third yellow card of the season against Ipswich, which meant he had to watch from the stands at Brighton. They're back together today. Tonali behind the ball. The three centre-backs have gone forwards once again. Chelsea line is through the middle of their half. It's a high one. Tonali looks to the right-hand side. Fabian Schär. Newcastle have it again with Schär on that right-hand side after a Chelsea header clear. Bruno, that's good. Murphy, now Schär in the penalty area. Schär tries to cut it back at the near post, and Chelsea scramble it clear. This is Murphy, edge of the box. Good run by Murphy. Barnes tries to take it away. Still Barnes, and still. And in the end, it's a weak shot that Sanchez saves comfortably in the middle of the goal.
Good
they did well. Murphy
just
initially.
So much determination to win the ball, to get the ball. They just wanted so much more than Chelsea do at this moment in time.
They did well there. Murphy initially on the right, a long run, a good run, and then Barnes took it away from a defender and away from Isak, but couldn't generate the power that he needed. They've switched it. It might be temporary, but Barnes is now on the left and Gordon's on the right. Pedro Neto for Chelsea, trying to attack, but Livramento with a bit of help from Barnes. Gets in the way. Burns' clearance is deflected by a blue shirt towards another, and now Newcastle are without the ball, having to defend. It's almost a wayward pass from Lavia. Cucurella couldn't get there, but it's kept in by Madueke. It was sort of between the pair. It was ahead of Cucurella, overhit. They've still got it on the left wing, Chelsea, with Newcastle 1-0 up through Tonali's early goal. Gordon is still on the right with Barnes on the left. Bruno and Tonali watching closely. Chelsea play short passes in the middle of Newcastle's half. Now Palmer, bit of curl on that through ball. Murphy gets across Madueke, lets it run for Pope.
Just so slow from Chelsea, so pedestrian.
Pope rolls it out along the 18-yard line, underarm to Sven Botman. Byrne could have gone quickly up the line, decided not to. Back to Botman, chipped forwards to Livramento. Nice layoff to Tonali, who wins one challenge. Then Caicedo with a clearance, which will give Newcastle a throw near to the bench. There's a second ball on the pitch. Livramento to take this one in the 29th minute. Schär back to Livramento, back down the line to Byrne, inside to the feet of Nick Pope.
Have you got that?
And now it's with Botman, right side of Newcastle's penalty box. Murphy, ball at an angle into midfield to Barnes, who lays it off, and now Schär. Gordon invited to chase after it. Caicedo well positioned to give it back to his goalkeeper. Nice passing from Newcastle, always finding space, always finding an extra player. Tonali to Byrne, and now Botman. They are with it again in their own penalty box. Botman up to Gordon on halfway, holds it up. Caicedo fouls him from behind. Caicedo doesn't like the decision. Newcastle are making the point that that's not his first foul on Anthony Gordon today. Not the worst challenge you'll ever see, but it is a foul. It was more in that than on Palmer from Tonali in the corner. John Brooks keeping his cards in his pocket. Botman, short ball to Tonali, out to Byrne on the touchline, now into the Chelsea half. Newcastle 1-0 up, Gordon gets it, wide left to Isak, keeps it in. takes on Caicedo, beats him with speed. Oh, the pass towards Gordon intercepted by Lavia, edge of the area. Botman then with a win on halfway. Madueke turns away from Cher. Would have been a foul, but Chelsea have the ball. John Brooks says play on. Palmer drops his shoulder, gets into the Newcastle half, then turns back, carries it across central midfield and finds the feet of Cucurella, 35 yards out or so. Back to Palmer, left of centre. Madueke and Jackson occupying defenders. Cucurella now 25 yards out, receives it and gives it back to Palmer, lifts in the cross. Pope all day, goalkeeper's ball. Yeah. Livramento with a positive run, quick run, not hanging about, drove up to halfway, but Nick Pope didn't think he could reach him.
Yeah, it's a poor ball by Palmer, isn't it? Just hung up, goalkeeper's ball all day.
So rather than play it quickly to Livramento, who was monitored by two Chelsea defenders, Pope held on, and there he's gone long towards Isak, but he had two on him, and Colwill, one of them, brings it forwards a good 30 yards up the left wing. Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo now for Chelsea to Lavia. Jackson comes short, followed by Botman. Chelsea playing it.
They play so narrow, Chelsea.
They play narrow, and they're playing right to left again with the passes. Pedro Neto back inside to Caicedo, now Lavia. Bruno with the closing down. Lavia turns and has a look. Now right to left with a ball to Cucurella from central midfield. Madueke tries to win a free kick. Nothing given, had a pull at Murphy. Newcastle come away with the ball. Murphy, good play, onto Barnes. Plenty of room for Barnes, and Gordon to the left. Found by Barnes' ball. Gordon in the area, Caicedo with him. Back to Barnes, edge of the box. Barnes,
he's tried to pick Isak out, hasn't he?
It's a goal kick for Chelsea. Maybe he could have gone for the shot, for the curler to the bottom corner, but he tried to play it forwards into the path of Isak, who held his run at the edge of the box.
Yeah, would have been some ball, just overhit as well, a little bit too much on it, but it was a great break again.
Chelsea play it short, and now Sanchez goes long. Jackson all over Botman, free kick, Botman down, yellow card for the Chelsea striker. Referee straight to his pocket for the card for Nicholas Jackson. Botman is still down face first, kicking his toes off the turf. Jackson, he's caught him with the arm in the face. Led with the arm. I think VAR will look at this. I'm not saying they will upgrade it, but they will look because of the nature of the challenge.
I don't think it's a red card. His arm's there, but he hasn't swung it.
He's led with it rather than swung with it. Botman might need treatment. We can't see if there's any blood. Jackson is apologising. John Brooks, the referee, yellow card. Nicholas Jackson for Chelsea, trying to help Sven Botman up. Apologetic enough. Did you see the one from Tyrone Mings on Bournemouth's Alex Scott yesterday? Yeah. What did you think about that? VAR is looking properly at this.
It was an interesting one.
Mings didn't receive a red card.
I thought the Mings one was worse than that.
Me too. VAR checking for a possible red card for Chelsea's Nicholas Jackson. Darren England is the VAR. Yellow card was the decision. When you see it from a wider angle, it looks like he's gone in with force with the elbow, and this could be a problem for Chelsea.
It's not his elbow.
I know. It depends on the perspective of the camera. I don't think, looking at it initially, that it would have been a red card, but VAR is taking a long look at it. I'm not giving you an opinion. I'm just giving you the facts.
Yes, you're just giving us an opinion.
Well, in the sense that I'm not saying that I think it should be.
It may well get upgraded. He's going to look at it.
Referee's going to the monitor.
You know what, usually they might be right, Fraser.
But at Everton at Fulham yesterday, remember the referee from the Ipswich match, Michael Salisbury, went to the monitor, stuck with his original decision.
Yeah, he did, yeah. He won't. He'll go red.
John Brooks, the referee today, advised by Darren England to take a look at the monitor. Nicholas Jackson led with the arm, maybe the elbow.
It wasn't the elbow, it was his forearm. His forearm's there. But
Sven Botman is up and is okay, although he's coming across quite slowly to the near touchline. The referee being told to review this at the East Stand on the far side. It's 1-0 to Newcastle United. 35 minutes. They could be up against 10 men, and they will be if the referee changes his decision and goes from yellow to red. Still in conversation with VAR. John Brooks gives the VAR signal, reaches into his pocket, says no yellow card, goes to his other pocket and produces a red card for the Chelsea striker Nicholas Jackson, and they are reduced to 10 men. A match of huge significance for both teams in their quest for Champions League football. Newcastle have a 1-0 lead, and now they have a man advantage. Jackson sent off after a VAR review for the challenge on Sven Botman. The crowd have just seen it again on the big screen at the Leazes end. The Newcastle fans are furious with the challenge. Some of the Chelsea fans in level 7 can't believe it, but that's the decision. It's gone from yellow to red, and they've got a great opportunity here to go and win this match now.
Well, they've been the better side all the way through it, but this most definitely helps. Once he goes to the screen, you always feel there's only going to be one outcome. Jackson's given the referee a decision to make.
Well, that's a very good point, because there are ways of challenging for the ball, and you do need your arms out for elevation, balance, but he could have challenged for that without having the forearm in that position and catching Sven Botman, I'm quite sure. Jackson talks to the fourth official on the way off. Chelsea manager Enzo Maresca's on the pitch giving out tactical information to Pedro Neto. Newcastle free kick in their own half to the right of the centre circle. Chelsea with a player sent off, and Sandro Tonali with the game's only goal about to take the free kick. Driven forwards, looking for Botman, who heads it across, just stopped by Caicedo. For a centre-back, for a central midfielder playing at full-back, he's defended very well so far. Tonali with a cross from the right. Dan Burn! Oh! Dan Burn, what a header! It curled towards the far post, but just didn't bend back in time.
Should score. Up against Neto, who's 3'8". That's a huge chance.
It's offside, actually. Would have been one for the semi-automated offside technology. Oh, the curl on that header, we were right behind it. He's got 2 goals this season, Byrne. He says himself he should score more.
It should score more, yeah.
No sign of a Chelsea substitution following the red card. Palmer and Madueke might play more centrally. They're with Neto on the right. Obviously they're not out of this game. Livramento shoulder to shoulder. Good challenge inside to Byrne and out to Gordon. Now Bruno caught by Lavia. Chelsea players losing their composure here. Enzo Maresca in particular, Enzo Fernandez, I beg your pardon, same name as the manager, went after John Brooks, the referee. Bruno caught by Lavia. That's always going to be a free kick. And Enzo Maresca, the manager, in his peachy pink jumper, being issued with some information or some words by the fourth official, and might be about to get a card from the referee, because John Brooks, he's come over to book Maresca for his actions and maybe his words on the touchline. Newcastle 1, Chelsea 0, and Chelsea have 10 men. It is going their way, John Anderson, but I would like a second goal. Cher, diagonal ball. Caicedo with a header. Oh, it's come straight to Livramento. Good challenge by Caicedo again.
Great tackle.
Again, very good defending from the midfielder at fullback. The red card may have fired up Chelsea. Neto makes a run in off the right wing. Newcastle got it right defensively, passing players on and in their positioning. Here's a cross from Fernandez into the middle. Cher heads away. Bruno and Barnes do well, and the return ball towards Barnes. Lavia strong tracking and a challenge, and now forwards to Madueke in the corner on the left. Trouble here for Newcastle. Madueke, low ball. Oh, Pedro Neto with a swing at it. Didn't connect at the near post. And now United through Livramento. Up to halfway, on to Gordon. Gordon comes inside, gives it to Livramento. Challenge from Palmer. Livramento gets it back. Bruno here finds the space on the far side. Fabian Schär. BBC Radio Newcastle. 5 minutes to half time. Harvey Barnes up the right wing. Murphy went for.
Don't tell me he tried to shoot.
A bit like Crystal Palace.
Didn't try to shoot, did he?
Scored from that position. Put everything into it, but it ended up being a wildly overhit cross or shot.
Or whatever.
Goal kick for Chelsea, who finished 6th last season, ahead of Newcastle by 3 points. And when Man United won the FA Cup, which took Newcastle out of Europe from their 7th position last season, Chelsea got the Conference League place, and that's the competition that they could well win, having reached the final. When Newcastle finished 4th a couple of years ago, Chelsea were 12th, so they have improved. And this one, despite Newcastle having the goal advantage and the man advantage, still has a lot of football left in it. Sandro Tonali with the goal. Nicholas Jackson sent off for a challenge on Sven Botman, catching him with his arm. Burn to Livramento, chip forwards for Gordon. Nice play. Gordon could be in on the left. Chalobah's come across.
Did well.
And won a clean challenge. And defended it well. Neto to Caicedo on this near touchline. Chelsea in their defensive third. Enzo back to Chalobah, and then Robert Sanchez straight out of play. Dan Burns' throw near to halfway back to Sven Botman. Fabian Schär, up it goes to Jacob Murphy. Makes progress about 10 yards or so, then stops, comes back to Bruno, into Tonali, forwards to Barnes. Bruno's got it again, right side, Chelsea half of the pitch. Botman now had Burn free to the left, goes back to the right to Tonali. Schär onto Tonali, back again, just moving the ball around, making Chelsea work. Jacob Murphy, Bruno onto Barnes in the penalty area. Barnes wins a corner. Chalobah slid in to stop Barnes' shot, reaching the goal and testing Sanchez. It will be a corner on the far side.
Great move again, great one-touch football. Chalobah's done well. Good tackle, because that's goal bound.
43rd minute. The corner kick. Let's see what they can conjure up from this. Barnes rolls it short to Tonali. He's found a bit of space. Now back to Barnes on the edge of the area. Takes a touch, lifts it in. Dan Burn headed down into the ground and saved by Sanchez. Couldn't generate the power under pressure from a floated cross, which didn't have a lot behind it either. So he had to get the power onto it, Burn. But it will go down as another attempt on target. There's Madueke on the far side, tries to beat two, knocks it one side, went the other.
He's been awful.
And then had a collision with Fabian Schär, but there's no afters. Nick Pope picked it up, and they've gone forwards to Bruno on halfway. Murphy, Barnes again in that hole, in the gap between Chelsea midfield and defence. Bruno for Isak, wide right. He's been fairly quiet, Alexander Isak. Murphy lays it off to Bruno. Murphy tumbles at the edge of the area. Chelsea clear from the goal line, wide of the posts. Colwill straight to black and white shirts. Schär inside to Botman. Burn available. Bruno and Tonali come to get it. Two midfielders. It's Bruno who receives it. Isak drops in, links up the play. Wide right to Barnes. Back through for Isak. Oh, the ball in from Isak just ahead of Bruno and cleared. Schär on the far touchline, inside to Botman, on top, as they have been for the entire half. 1-0 up and against 10 men now, trying to secure a second goal before the whistle. Tanali to Gordon. Botman and Cher, 35 yards out. Chelsea very deep. Isak onto Murphy. Barnes in the middle, back out wide to Isak. Tanali makes a run, gets it from Isak's ball. Tanali low cross, Isak takes it around his man, keeper comes out and makes a block. It's a goal kick. Isak got the last touch, and there will be a minimum of 6 additional minutes. That's 6 minutes. And the crowd are up for that. They obviously smell
you don't want half time to come. No, you want this game to carry on. You just wanted to keep going the way that it's going. Been a better side right from the off. More energy about us, more determination about us than Chelsea. You'd like that second goal though.
It's the voice of John Anderson, the former Newcastle defender. Our match summariser here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Header from United from Fabian Cher away into Chelsea territory. Caicedo to Chalobah. Enzo Fernandez trying to lift it in behind Livramento. Pedro Neto with a header, edge of the box. Neto on his left. This is dangerous. Madueke now looking for the shot, or Palmer, far side of the penalty area. Palmer, it'll be a goal kick. Jacob Murphy defended it well and made sure that Palmer had the last touch.
Yeah, you wanted to go to Madueke all the time. He just keeps giving it away. He just doesn't look interested in the game at all.
He was a player that Newcastle have liked in the past and have been strongly linked to, but you haven't been impressed with him today, not in Madueke. Livramento to Tanali, left side of central midfield. Tanali directing things, then passing the ball over to Cher. Over the halfway line, space for Murphy. More space out there with Chelsea. Reduced to 10 through Nicholas Jackson's red card. Bruno to Botman. Dan Burn, the spare player here for Newcastle. Backpedaling Gordon on the left wing, 20 yards out. Inside to Livramento. Comes back out wide to Burn. His pass is lifted back to Botman, then Burn up to Isak. Nice layoff to Tanali. Under a bit of pressure from the Chelsea press there, Newcastle, but they keep possession of the ball. We're in the third of the 6 minutes minimum. Still leading 1-0. Cucurella's header from a diagonal ball straight to Harvey Barnes. Bruno, 30 yards from goal. Murphy takes a touch. Bruno makes a run, doesn't get it. They go back to Barnes. Tanali comes to receive it. Now on to Murphy. Chance to take a few touches and deliver a cross. He's found Isak, who can't connect. And Gordon at the back of the box likewise couldn't get a touch. Now Neto running at Burn. Pedro Neto away into the penalty area. Neto towards the goal. Botman makes a block. It's a Chelsea corner. As you would expect, Pedro Neto had the beating of Dan Burn for pace, but he was running out of space as he approached goal, and Sven Botman got back to defend.
Yeah, first time they broke. Dan Burn was never catching him, was he? He put a hand on his shoulder as well, thought twice about it.
Chelsea with a corner on the right. And Enzo Fernandez, every black and white shirt in the box. As Fernandez sends the outswinger, header up there from Trevor Chalobah, caught by Nick Pope. Could go for a quick one. He does. Isak closed down by Fernandez in the middle. Isak might have been tripped. Play on, says the referee. Gordon just over halfway from Livramento's pass, trying to run away from Palmer. Palmer with a challenge on Gordon. Referee's given it.
No, not a chance in the world.
No,
not a chance.
They take a quick one, but they're never getting that past John Brooks.
That's just that's a football and coming together.
I thought the whistle had gone. Oh, yellow card for Enzo Fernandez for dissent. I thought the whistle had gone because after Palmer made the challenge, Gordon seemed to catch the ball. I thought it was for handball. but it's actually a free kick for Newcastle. Chelsea unhappy with some of the decisions. Palmer pushing Enzo out of the way to make sure that he doesn't overstep the mark again, because yellow would become red and then they'd be down to 9. Newcastle 1, Chelsea 0 on BBC Radio Newcastle. And Tonali, Livramento and Gordon on the left wing, 30 yards out. Talk it through.
Referees, who'd have them?
Tonali goes into the middle. Gordon runs over the ball. Livramento plays it to Gordon. There's a bit of space. He's passed it across to Murphy, right of centre. Murphy doesn't go for the shot, chips it to the back post. Livramento, caught by the keeper as Byrne followed in. I think it's gone behind, hasn't it, actually, for a goal kick off Dan Byrne. They tried to make use of the space, and the extra man, it was Byrne, just as the keeper was catching it, who stabbed it out at the near post. That one didn't quite come off, and it's almost at that time where we expect the whistle. The 6 minutes have been played, and John Brooks, the referee, blows for half-time. Newcastle made a fast start. Sandro Tonali's goal giving them the lead after 2. Takes some of the discs that had been out during the half-time session for the substitutes, and we're almost ready to go again. Every goal's worth 2, isn't it, really, at this moment? Newcastle and Chelsea level on goal difference, but Newcastle score, they gain 1. Chelsea have a goal taken away from them in goal difference, so a win by a bigger margin could be very beneficial if goal difference comes into play.
Yeah, but first and foremost, you just win the game, don't you?
And they start the second half on the attack up the right wing towards Barnes.
They were excellent first half. The tempo that they played at, the energy that they played at. Chelsea would be pedestrian. They like to play this slow tempo football, and they just haven't been able to get close to us this afternoon.
No Newcastle changes for the second half. Gordon adjudged to have fouled Neto on the far side as he cut in off the left wing. Neto got across Gordon. Might have had a hand on him, but Gordon's run was impeded. Newcastle, Pope in goal. Cher, Botman and Byrne, 3 centre-backs. Murphy, right wing-back. Livramento, left wing-back. Bruno and Tonali in the centre. Barnes back on the right. Gordon on the left. Isak centre-forward. No Willock or Trippier. They are injured, and now there's a problem. Heavy landing. Livramento went up for a header on the far side. There was some concern about him from his teammates and from Chelsea players, because that looked like a really awkward one. The Newcastle staff have gone sprinting over to the far side of the pitch. Livramento he was sitting up, he's now lying down on the pitch again, but is moving. May have hurt himself.
Just landed awkwardly, he might just be winded, you know.
They have sent Lewis Miley and Emil Kraft out to warm up. The Newcastle bench in full. Dubravka, Ruddy, Lascelles, who was in the squad for the first time since the 30th of March last year, when he injured his anterior cruciate ligament in the comeback win over West Ham. Wilson, Kraft, Osula, Miley, Longstaff, Neve. At Chelsea, as Livramento continues to receive treatment.
Looks like it's his right knee.
He's pulled up to his feet, Livramento. He's a player that's had an ACL injury. I think it was on his left side, though. You just hope that he avoids anything serious from this. It's the way that he landed.
Yeah, he seems to be moving all right, doesn't he?
He went up, his studs hit the turf, but then he seemed to twist and bounce. But he's okay, he's off the pitch. They're down to 10, so both teams 10 players for the moment, while Livramento has to away to pitch side before being called back on. 1-0 to United. Chelsea with possession in the attacking half. Burn seems to have gone out to left back. It's like a 4-4-1 at the moment. Livramento's back on, so they can return to their original shape. Newcastle. Palmer 5 yards outside the area. Nice drag back, lining up a shot. Might have taken a slight touch, but it's a comfortable save for Nick Pope. And Livramento takes it in his stride from the big throw from Pope. Nothing wrong with the knee there. A ball in behind, great ball. Gordon, bundled over. Referee says no penalty. Newcastle supporters on their feet. Gordon, definite contact in the back, but in the view of the referee, not a penalty. It was James.
Saying shoulder to shoulder. Is that what the referee's saying?
Like shoulder in the back. But I take the point, they're playing again, so it's not going to be a penalty. Chelsea playing it out short. Livramento blocks it. They're saying that James fouled him. Newcastle win it back on the far side, but the decision goes Chelsea's way for a free kick from Dan Burns' challenge that produced the ball. And the referee, having upset Chelsea in the first half, is now losing friends in the black and white sections of St James's Park. Murphy's won it back though. Murphy gets the better of Fernandez in the area. Murphy's low cross. Barnes. Gordon wanted it laid off and Barnes couldn't produce the pass. Chelsea clear. And now into midfield, Caicedo away from Botman, who tried not to foul, didn't foul. Chelsea still have possession. Fernandez 30 yards out to Palmer, right of centre. Wants it on his left all the time. Comes over to the left, back to Lavia. Some frustration in the stands and a couple of decisions. Still 1-0 to Newcastle against 10 men. It's Chelsea attack. James, who's gone to fullback, and Caicedo in midfield after the half-time change. Chalobah and Colwill in the centre circle. They've forced them backwards. Lavia to James and Colwill in his own half. Up to Cucurella. Inside to Fernandez. Cucurella gave it but then stayed still, didn't go. Now up to Palmer, heavy touch. Cher wins it. Gordon with a back heel. Bruno, and now for Gordon to get after. Gordon in a foot race with Colwill, who gets there first. He had a head start, the defender.
Oh, he was stronger as well, wasn't he?
Made use of his advantage. Sanchez up into midfield. This is a bit stretched and a bit open. Eddie Howe puts his hands on his head. Chelsea in behind for Neto. Burn comes across. Burn, brilliant challenge. Brilliant challenge. Perfectly timed. Out towards the corner on the goal line. He played it off Neto and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, he just stretched those long legs, didn't he?
Newcastle leading 1-0 through the goal in the second minute from Sandro Tonali. This is the 52nd minute and Murphy in behind Cucurella. Isak chases, Sanchez catches edge of the box. Chelsea, Robert Sanchez in goal. Reece James, Trevor Chalobah, Levi Colwill, Mark Cucurella, Enzo Fernandez, Romeo Lavia, Moises Caicedo, Pedro Neto and Cole Palmer. Cross from Neto onto the head of Fabian Cher, who flicks it away, clears the immediate danger, out to the left wing. Cucurella back to Lavia. Squad number 45, Lavia, the young midfielder. Now Colwill, James. Lavia comes to get it at the centre circle. Sharp turn away from Bruno, did well. Cher with a challenge on Enzo Fernandez, and it's going to get him a yellow card. Jason Tindall goes straight to the fourth official to question that decision.
See, that's not a yellow card for me either. It's an attempt to play the ball, okay, slightly missed time, but just couldn't wait to get the card out, could he?
Activity on Newcastle's bench. Lewis Miley getting ready to come on. We don't know yet who for. Colwill, driven diagonal ball, Cucurella controls. Chelsea will be happy with their start to the second half. Dangerous ball in that Burn controls, facing his own goal, takes it out towards the corner, and man. That's a good ball. Accurate pass to Isak. Oh, just away from Barnes out to the right wing. But they've still got it and still trying to counter. Barnes now into the Chelsea half to Bruno. Tackled by Lavia. Wins the ball. Clean challenge. And they've got to get back in here, Newcastle. Gordon retreating. And Tonali giving the players behind them some support. Bruno now back into midfield. Chelsea with him in the centre circle. Ball passed square 5 yards by Lavia to Chalobah, and Colwell just behind halfway. 10 men, but a reaction from Chelsea, and Eddie Howe responding with Lewis Miley about to come on. We'll see if that's anything to do with Livramento and whether he might be coming off, or whether they're going to take a wide player off and put another midfielder on, because Chelsea have got Lavia, Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez central roles, though Fernandez often a bit more advanced without the central striker. Back to goalkeeper Robert Sanchez, thumps it up the pitch. That'll do nicely for Newcastle. It's a throw. The change.
Substitution
is Sven Botman.
Coming off number 4.
Sven Botman. His first start since February after injury. We don't know whether that was planned. It's 55 minutes into the match. You would imagine that it might be. We'll see how Botman moves, whether he goes down the tunnel. Lewis Miley is on.
Lewis Miley.
Botman takes his seat on the bench. So Jacob Murphy's going to have to play a right fullback. And Miley's gone to the right of Tonali, Bruno to the left. With no Joe Linton and no Joe Willock, you might have felt Lewis Miley would have been called in for a start, but Eddie Howe changed the formation to play with an extra defender. And now it's only Jacob Murphy who's out of position. He's in communication with the bench as Dan Burn chips it into the corner, in behind for Gordon, trying to get the better of James, who has seen him off, and Chelsea clear up to Palmer, headed on towards Neto. Black and white shirts get back. Dan Burn wins it. Strong from Burn, brilliant from Burn. Gordon wants a free kick, doesn't get it after playing it forwards, and Chelsea into midfield to Fernandez. Cucurella loves to attack from fullback, and he's been able to do quite a bit of that 10 minutes into the second half. Still 1-0 to Newcastle though. It's an entertaining match. Quite end-to-end at the moment. Enzo Fernandez, Cucurella with space, they've got to get out to him. Murphy closes down, Cucurella's chip cross.
It's awful. It's awful.
If Nick Pope could have picked a type of delivery, he would have picked that one.
Yeah, they've had more of the ball, haven't they, Chelsea? They've been livelier at the start of this second half.
5 straight wins in all competitions for Chelsea. Newcastle just 1 defeat in 9, and that was at Aston Villa. Both in great form. It's been a good Newcastle performance. And here's Murphy for Isak, trying to make things better. Gets the touch, Colwell gets the other side. And it's a corner, no free kick. Chelsea wanted a free kick as Isak challenged Colwell, who got between man and ball. Corner kick given by John Brooks. Isak got the first touch, Colwell got back to him. And it's ended up being a Newcastle set piece. Sandro Tonali to take. Gallagher end, a 6-yard box in the shade, the back of the penalty area, in the warm sunshine at St James's. Tonali, out swinger, misses out Burn. Isak on the volley, back over.
All on his own again, wasn't he? Back post.
He had one like that against Ipswich at the other end.
Yeah, he did exactly the same thing, didn't he?
Same technique, side on, and it comes off the outside of his foot, and it's a slice that floats away from goal. It's a chance. It's still 1-0 to Newcastle United. Cucurella has beaten Murphy in the air, and Cucurella advances for Chelsea into the final third. Murphy holds him up and they go back to Lavia and Caicedo. Now Palmer. Neto, like Palmer, left-footed, wants it on that favoured side, but he's playing on the right of the attack. Neto trying to find room for a shot here. Ran towards the box and then saw Bruno, so had to leave it for a teammate. They've gone back to the wide right position. Palmer this time's drifted out there. Only Isak ahead of the ball. It's 30 yards from Newcastle's goal, with Palmer again back to Lavia. BBC Radio Newcastle sitting in and defending. Callum Wilson, Jamal Lascelles warming up. Chelsea back to halfway. Jacob Murphy keeping close watch on Cucurella, comes out to him. Cucurella receives the ball, rolls it back down the line to Chalobah, into the box to goalkeeper Sanchez. Isak and Gordon push up for Newcastle. Sanchez's ball has taken Newcastle midfielders out of the game. Caicedo's got it. He's held off Tonali, and then the pass has hit Palmer, and Bruno gives it to Nick Pope. And a short ball from Pope to the right to Fabian Schär. There's more intensity and more belief about Chelsea at the start of the second half, and Newcastle struggling to get a grip at the moment. Enzo Fernandez on the left wing. 10 men are playing well. Caicedo. Lavia whips it out to the left to Cucurella. Tonali tries to intercept. It's come across for Gordon. Back to Byrne. Up towards Bruno, who slipped, and Lavia's nicked in to win it. On the angle of the penalty box, Neto. Livramento blocks the cross. Livramento's limping. Don't know if it's after blocking that cross or linked to the earlier nasty fall that led to him receiving treatment. Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall continue to talk in the technical area. Bruno gets away from Palmer, onto Barnes. 4-5 now in the Chelsea half. Barnes to Bruno on the edge of the box, back through for Barnes. Here's the cross, deflected into the hands of Sanchez. Isak and Gordon wanted it at the back post. The ball didn't reach them. Chelsea sent it up the pitch. Neto twisting and turning away from Byrne. Dan Byrne drops back into central defence. Neto wide on the far touchline. Good noise from the Newcastle fans, knowing that they're going through a tough spell in the match despite leading. Still 1-0 after an hour. James near to the centre circle. Inside to Lavia, he's found a pass forwards to Palmer. The cross from Cole Palmer. Cucurella takes a touch and hits it.
Big save.
Big save low down, one-handed by Nick Pope. And it's turned out for a throw to Chelsea on the far side.
Good save, strong hand.
They're struggling with Cucurella up against Murphy. Emil Kraft's on the bench. I wonder whether they would look to make that change, having now gone to a 4 after starting with a 5. It's not Murphy's natural position. He can get forwards well, but they've got a problem. Cucurella is the spare man again. Barnes hasn't tucked in or dropped in, and now they switch it to Cucurella. He's wide on the left. Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall pointing at that situation. Cucurella up the line into the corner now to Enzo Fernandez. Chelsea ball, it's a throw. Have they got to change that? Because Cucurella is getting too much space.
You'd be thinking about it, wouldn't you? He's more of a defensive-minded player. Kraft get an awful lot tighter.
It's only Wilson and Lascelles who are warming up. Now they've got him ready. Emil Kraft. Graham Jones, the coach, is with him. Still got his green bib on. In the Newcastle dugout, Harvey Barnes has won a free kick for a push in the back. That will be very welcome. And Emil Kraft doing some stretches. And they are clearly thinking about this. Here's the free kick. Jamal Lascelles comes back to the bench. Good to see him back in the squad, isn't it, after a really tough time with a serious injury. Murphy wins a throw. Yeah, here's the change. Eddie Howe puts his arm around Emil Kraft. Jacob Murphy's expecting to go off, which is why he hasn't taken the throw. He's going to get a yellow card. He's telling the referee that he's going to be going off. But he's been booked for delaying the restart, even though he's about to come on. But the referee doesn't want Newcastle to make the change now. The throw from Murphy. Barnes wants a free kick. Cucurella had hands on him. The assistant was close by. The referee had a look and they get nothing.
You see, that's another football and coming together. It's just both players grappling each other, tangling of legs.
It's Gordon who's coming off. Barnes must be going to the left. Murphy up to the right of the attack. Emil Kraft's coming on at right back though, which feels like the right thing. John Anderson.
Yeah, Murphy's been struggling second half since they've gone to a 4. He's not a natural defender, he doesn't see it. Murphy will push on, Kraft will go to right back.
Another change made by Eddie Howe. We're in the 65th minute of a huge game. Big games to follow in the Premier League today. 4:30, Liverpool against Arsenal. Newcastle will be looking at Arsenal ahead of next week's trip to the Emirates Stadium. Maybe with the opportunity to catch them, to overtake them. Nottingham Forest, currently 7th after Aston Villa's win yesterday. They play at 2:15 at home to relegated Leicester. Newcastle got the ball back from Chelsea after a mistake on the near side that led to a throw. They've gone back to Burn on halfway. Barnes is now at left wing. And Sandro Tonali goal in the second minute, the only one we've had so far. Chelsea with 10 men since the 35th minute. Nicholas Jackson's red card after a VAR review. A challenge on Sven Botman that was a yellow card from the referee. Upgraded to red.
That's better.
To the monitor. Newcastle moving it around well in their own half. Livramento going on beyond Barnes, but the ball won back by Reece James. Such a good player, James, but he's had a number of injuries.
Prior to him getting injured, he was...
Enzo Fernandez dispossessed in the middle by Newcastle, but Chelsea win it back next to halfway. James on it again. He was one of the best. You might say that he still is, but injuries have interrupted his career. Newcastle 1, Chelsea 0. How well placed do you feel they are, John Anderson, to keep hold of this lead or even extend it?
Sorry, Razor, what was that?
How well placed do you feel they are to keep hold of the lead or get another goal?
Yeah, look, they've got the extra man. Chelsea have come out, they changed it a little bit second half. They've had more of the ball without really creating a great deal. Pope's had that one save to make, but apart from that, but you wouldn't think Chelsea have got 10 men the way they're knocking it about at the moment.
If they played like this in the first half, 11 v 11, the scoreline might look different. They're trying to change it now. They've been very good in the second half. Newcastle have had a couple of attacks, but Chelsea most of the ball and a lot of it in this sort of area close to the United box. Barnes nipped in, tried to win it, just missed it. Here's a dangerous cross from the right. James puts his hands onto the top of his head. He almost got the other fullback Cucurella in for a tap in at the back post. It was a lovely ball whipped in.
Great ball, wasn't it?
Goal kick though.
He's made a difference since coming on as well. James, he's strong, he's quick.
BBC Radio Newcastle tomorrow, 6 o'clock, Total Sport, for the opportunity to talk about this match and get some considered reaction. Total Sport every weekday, 6 till 8, all the latest on Newcastle and Sunderland, and the North East only football phone in. You can listen anytime or listen back to any shows you've missed through the BBC Sounds app. Search for Total Sport North East. Isak into midfield, but he's been dispossessed in a dangerous area. Enzo Fernandez onto Cole Palmer, just inside the box, left side. Palmer's cross blocked by the substitute Emil Kraft. Straight back to Palmer though, twisting and turning. Share with him. It's a corner. Isak apologises. He lost the ball there in a bad area, but his teammates helped him out. Past the midway point in the second half. Defending a 1-0 lead. Digging in. The corner taken by Neto to Palmer on this near side. Caicedo getting on for 30 yards from the goal. Back out wide to Cole Palmer. Caicedo again. Bruno leading the Newcastle press. Lavia in the centre circle to James. Diagonal ball. Barnes trying to let that go for a goal kick, and it does.
For all the ball Chelsea have had, the problem they've got is they've got no focal point, they've got nothing to play off. They've got to try and play little triangles, but when the ball comes in the box, there's not enough blue shorts in there, thankfully.
Livramento to Miley, stretching, couldn't really control it. Chelsea win it back on the far side. Miley makes the challenge, helps Newcastle regain control of the ball, and then they win a throw. Since the changes, Pope in goal, Kraft, Share, Byrne, Livramento, Bruno, Tonali, Miley, Murphy on the right, Barnes on the left, Isak centre forward. Here's Kraft, 25 yards out to Bruno and Murphy. Bruno makes a run into the box, found by Murphy's ball. Bruno! It's a wild swing at it. He was entitled to take the shot on as it dropped, but he's missed the target at the near side.
He's not the sweetest striker of the ball. He had one like that. Was it last game? Was it at Brighton where he's hoofed it over the top? It's similar again today.
Kraft wins the header from Cucurella on halfway. Kraft's down, he's landed awkwardly. Referee's whistle has gone to stop the game. That's what Murphy wasn't doing up against Cucurella. Hopefully Emil Kraft will be all right. In the meantime, Bruno is summoned by Eddie Howe. Wants a word with the skipper. Kraft lifts himself up.
Managers allowed go on the pitch though as well.
Well, Maresca was earlier on. Howe had crossed the white line to have a word in Bruno's ear. Newcastle 1, Chelsea 0. In the final 20 minutes now, Fabian Schär caught by Enzo Fernandez. Play on, Tonali edge of the area, challenge on Fernandez, who wants a free kick for that one. He might have conceded a free kick, then Tonali surely tripped by Lavia. Newcastle get the decision, this time in the corner.
There's lots of little niggles going on out there.
It's 11 Newcastle players against 10 men of Chelsea. Wonder if it will finish that way. Nick Pope restarts the match, playing the ball from the right-hand side into the box to Dan Byrne. Back to the goalkeeper. Share to Bruno. He's got Kraft on the outside. Bruno, oh that's nice. Tonali picked up a good place in the middle of midfield. Inside he comes to Murphy. Out to Emil Kraft. Back to Murphy. Kraft on for the 9th time in the Premier League this season. He's only started 2 league games, but every time Eddie Howe calls on him, I know you like what you see, Ando, from Emil Kraft.
He just does it simple. He's just honest, defends well, passes it nice and easy.
Came on late at Wembley. He's in good position here, space on the right, might deliver the cross. It's a low ball to Bruno, edge of the penalty area. Miley wants it, gets it from Bruno, pushes it out to Barnes on the left corner, back through for Miley. Now Livramento, they've worked it well, still on the attack. Bruno near to the box, Barnes in the area, on the outside, Harvey Barnes, great challenge by Colwill. Miley gets to the ball, but takes it behind.
What a tackle that is.
So goal kick. Barnes dropped his shoulder, looked like he was away and in.
Great defending, wasn't it?
Colwill, left foot came across, it was his near foot as well.
He needed to get that spot on. He mistimes that. It's a penalty all day long.
73rd minute. Chelsea short. Isak chasing the ball between goalkeeper and defender. That was close. Kraft wins another header from Cucurella and then drops his shoulder and gets away from two. What about this from Emil Kraft? He's still going. The ball to Murphy, inside to Bruno, wide to Isak, who stayed out on the wing after closing down defenders. Murphy's cross. Isak on his way into the middle. Wasn't too far away as Sanchez came out to land on the ball. Chelsea are preparing to make changes. I think the referee wants a different match ball. The one that they just had must be flat. A double change. Jadon Sancho on loan from Manchester United is coming on for Romeo Lavia, and Malo Gusto is replacing Trevor Chalobah. Gusto is a pacey fullback, and Sancho, we know well, has gone into the wide left area. So Chelsea now, Gusto has gone to right back. They've got Colwill. Are they playing just with a 3 at the back? It's like a 3-3-3. Gusto, Colwill, Cucurella, James, Caicedo, Fernandes, and a front three of Neto, Palmer and Sancho. Newcastle win it from Chelsea, and up to Isak quickly, back to Murphy, who's found Miley, and he in turn finds Barnes. Into the area from Barnes for Murphy. The cross just too high for Isak at the back post. There might have been an offside.
Might have been an offside, yeah.
Could be a free kick rather than a goal kick. Doesn't matter anyway. Nice move though. Still 1-0, the early goal. Sandro Tonali's 6th of the season. Set up by Jacob Murphy, and that's the 12th assist in the Premier League that Murphy has to his name. He scored 8 Premier League goals, 9 goals in all competitions. High numbers from Murphy in what's been a superb season for him personally. Chelsea after the ball on the far side, but the header runs out of play. Livramento on the halfway line makes sure. Callum Wilson and William Osula, the Newcastle boys who've been doing the stretches and sprints in the corner. There will be another change soon in the 77th minute of the match. Tonali back to him from Bruno, over halfway, up to Barnes, that's good. They're finding more space now, and they found Livramento, but Neto has managed to get between man and ball and play it to Gusto, back to the goalkeeper. Sanchez's kick, not the best. Barnes with a header on. Gusto clears up the line. Dan Burn with a very tidy first touch. And the ball brought inside pass from Burn to Share, forwards to Miley, quickly on to Livramento. Now for Barnes, attacking Gusto, beats him. Barnes in the penalty box. He's got his back to goal now. Gusto recovered. Miley wide left. Newcastle with it through Livramento, and then Bruno and Tonali. Livramento working it well. Here's Barnes. Oh, heavy touch from Barnes.
That was the chance.
It seemed
Heavy touch, just got away from him.
Oh, it might have bubbled up, and Sanchez came out to claim. Chelsea, quick break. Neto on the right wing into the middle. Tonali leans in, pushes him off the ball, which has come into central midfield. Neto has claimed the loose ball and found a teammate. Blue shirts in possession. James, Caicedo, Palmer drops his shoulder, moves quickly, and then moves the ball onto Sancho, running at Kraft, in behind for Neto. Share comes across, corner. It's been a good second half.
It's been a better contest second half.
From Chelsea. Newcastle have still had their moments And that one from Barnes. Oh, the heavy touch. So frustrating for him. He was in, but the ball wouldn't roll. And Chelsea went up to the Leazes end and have won this corner. Bruno pushed over by Enzo Fernandez before the corner has been taken. Whistle has gone. Referee will sort this out. Reece James pulls Bruno back up to his feet. He's trying to calm things down. There's always something between players from Brazil and Argentina, and Enzo Fernandez is particularly vocal here. Still some pushing in the box. Referee will need to watch this closely. I would not be surprised if it kicked off again. Newcastle 1, Chelsea 0. Here's the corner with 11 minutes to play. Sancho flat to the near post. Kraft has cleared it straight to Barnes, and it's stabbed forwards. Murphy to chase. Caicedo challenges. Newcastle say it should be a free kick. Referee says no. Here go Chelsea. Miley gets a toe to the ball. Neto still got it though. Gusto, the substitute, to James inside for Neto, 5 yards out from the box. Now Cucurella whipped over to Sancho on the inside of Kraft, then on the outside, then back inside, then back outside, and then Palmer with a high ball, too high. Well, Sancho at one point, and they seemed to have the beating of Emil Kraft,
and then he came back again
to beat him again. BBC Radio Newcastle will put reaction from Eddie Howe on BBC Sounds after the game. Search for Newcastle United podcast to listen to the manager's full-time thoughts, and join us tomorrow from 6 for Total Sport on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Fabian Schär trying to find Murphy. He's only found a Chelsea player, and the forward ball, Dan Burns to come and win, and now Isak trying to make something of the clearance as Sanchez leaves his box, and it takes it down under control. Isak collided with Cucurella. Newcastle say Cucurella made a meal of it, like he's done so again. Isak has conceded a free kick after catching Cucurella, and Enzo Maresca's gone to the fourth official, as have Jason Tindall and Graham Jones from the Newcastle bench. It's getting quite bad-tempered. Newcastle still in the lead, 1-0. Enzo Fernandez in the United penalty area though, and nutmeg on Bruno. Back to Jadon Sancho. Chelsea bringing big names off the bench. Reece James with a cross, Livramento header away, helped on by Barnes. Caicedo nods it down to Gusto. Cucurella's fine, by the way, in case you were wondering.
No.
Gusto on the right-hand side. Gets it back from Neto, closer to the halfway line than the box, into the centre of midfield for Caicedo. St James's Park crowd, Geordie voices doing their best to help the team. 8 minutes or so of normal time still to navigate. Dangerous ball into the box, finds Sancho. Murphy and Kraft close down. Fernandez!
Oh, what a save
Nick
that
Pope
is!
Has got something on that and tipped it over. It's another massive save.
Oh. Good switch again. No backlift from Fernandez, just hits it early with his left foot. It's a strong right hand, isn't it? Left hand was it? Pushed it over the top.
It's the Chelsea fans singing at the top of their voices now. The corner on the right. They're really having to dig deep, Newcastle, and defend. The outswinging corner comes in. Big Dan Burn does what he does and heads away. Palmer. Newcastle slow to get out. Chelsea have got Fernandez down in the box near to the penalty spot. He gets back up. Caicedo in the centre. Neto. It's popped up now on the left wing. Kraft with him, keeping Close eye on the ball, concentrating. Neto, right-footed cross, swung over. Chelsea win the header. Bruno nods away. Barnes, pursued by 3 blue shirts, gets up to halfway, turns, tackled by Colwill. The turn from Barnes gave Colwill the chance to win it, and then he's pulled him down on the halfway line. Free kick for Chelsea. They've taken it from an incorrect position. The referee had his back turned.
Do you ever see them taken from the correct position?
That was the shade of green on the pitch was different from that position. They're still with it in the middle part of the field, along halfway. 1-0 Newcastle United. Gusto under pressure from Bruno, forced back to his goalkeeper. Sanchez, driven ball out to the right. Neto, not the best touch or pass. Back to Cucurella. The boos are out for the Spanish fullback. Bruno on Enzo Fernandez.
There's a yellow card.
Bruno is booked for that challenge, which might well be him just releasing some frustration, leaving one in on arrival. The goal came inside 2 minutes, then Chelsea's Nicholas Jackson sent off in the 35th minute after a VAR review for a challenge where his arm caught Sven Botman in the face. Chelsea looking after a good second half to equalise. Byrne heads away, Tonali and Bruno get in a bit of a muddle. They've got to get this clear. Miley heads it back to Byrne, now forwards to Tonali. Sandro Tonali's won a free kick, a very important free kick in the middle of the park, pulled down. It buys them some time and it just gives them a break. They go third if they win, above Manchester City, who drew 0-0 with bottom side Southampton yesterday. Nottingham Forest have got Leicester at home at 2:15, so that will start not long after this finishes. Aston Villa won yesterday. It's incredibly tight. This would be significant. Share to Kraft. Dodgy first touch, but he's won a throw off Sancho. Takes them on to 20 wins this season, only Liverpool with more if they get it. The last time they won 20 in the Premier League was 2002-2003 when Sir Bobby Robson's team finished third. Not many draws, but they got one last week, which was a vital point late on at Brighton. This result, if they win it, would be even bigger. 1-0, 87th minute, throw in on halfway. Livramento to Isak, flicks it forwards. Barnes not getting there. Eddie Howe not looking to anybody on his bench at the moment. He's brought on Kraft and Miley without Trippier and Willett today. Sancho on his chest inside for Cucurella, drives over halfway towards the Newcastle box. Fernandez on the left wing, challenge from Bruno. Murphy then makes a challenge and Kraft clears from inside the penalty area. Wasn't the tidiest defending, but it was sufficient. Sancho now away from Bruno and Murphy sticks his boot through the ball. Isak looks shattered and is now going to close down Colwill in the middle of the Chelsea box, and Barnes, as the ball is played back to the goalkeeper, gets after Sanchez. Miley with Palmer on the far side. Miley doing a good job of holding up Cole Palmer, facing his own goal back to Sanchez. 88th minute, pinged out to Cucurella. Lovely ball helped on. It's a great pass. Brilliant execution to Fernandez, and now Palmer from the right of centre. 1-0, Newcastle still lead. Gusto, here's the cross, and the header from Reece James over the top. James got in between two defenders as Nick Pope started to come, but his header is over the bar.
Oh, what a chance that is. That's a massive chance. He just gets underneath it. Heads it over the top.
For an early kick-off, we wondered what the noise would be like, how the atmosphere would be. The crowd have been terrific today. They've been absolutely full of it. In beautiful weather. It's the sort of day where you might want to get along to the beach if you can after the match, hopefully celebrating a Newcastle victory. They've won a free kick. Isak fouled back to goal near to the centre circle. Bruno's down now, and Emil Kraft's gone in with Levi Colwill, and Emil Kraft, the mild-mannered Swede, has come a good 15 yards, sprinted to say what he thinks. That is very out of character. We might need to see that again. The referee's got a yellow card out. I mean, it could be for anybody. Kraft's going to get one. So his name is taken. Reece James and Cole Palmer, with Emil Kraft calming it down, and that's the only booking. I didn't see what happened to Bruno, but Isak was definitely
Nothing happened to him.
And they've got a free kick. Well, Bruno ended up rolling around.
He rolled around. Well, he always rolls around, but he gets up straight away. There's nothing wrong with him.
Last week, Bruno became the first Premier League player to be fouled 100 times this season.
Yeah.
I think he's on 103 after today.
Yeah.
That's not the 104th. Kraft yellow card.
Many of them were actually fouls.
Well, all of them, because they wouldn't have been given otherwise. Free kick, 40 yards out, right side. Tanali drives it. Dan Burn is free. He's able to bring the ball under control with his left boot. Nice little pass inside for Bruno. But think about the shot. Bruno down! The captain wins it. Bruno Guimaraes out on the left from Dan Burn's ball with a curling, dipping shot over Robert Sanchez and into the net at the Gallagher end to give Newcastle United a massive victory over one of their Champions League rivals. They have been up against it for the entire second half, but Chelsea haven't made their pressure pay, and it's Bruno, the captain, with one of the most important goals he will ever score in black and white to make it Newcastle United 2, Chelsea 0. And 5 minutes are added to the end of the game as Fabian Schär and Marc Cucurella argue in the centre. Chelsea preparing to kick off. Bruno with the second goal. Did it take a deflection?
Yeah. Takes a deflection. Defender puts his foot out, hits it, loops up straight over the top of the keeper. Big deflection.
It's been the two midfield boys. They started today with a 2 in the centre rather than a 3, with no Joe Linton, no Joe Willock. Tanali in the second minute, Bruno in the 90th minute, and Chelsea with 10 men have fought so well in the second period. Now Schär caught, the referee's reaching into his pocket again, and there's going to be another card, and Chelsea, as the tensions continue to run high and tempers flare, Fabian Schär caught. Now Schär was involved in a long argument after the goal went in with Marc Cucurella, who's always got plenty to say for himself, and this time it's Colwill who left one in on Fabian Schär. This is a yellow card. Haven't seen it again. Schär's back up, and Reece James is again with a cool head helping out his teammates by getting them away from the argument and pushing Colwill back into his own half. Newcastle 2, Chelsea 0. Chelsea with 10 men. A boost to the goal difference. Newcastle's increases by 2. Chelsea's reduces by the same number, and they are going to go third in the table. We are about halfway through the minimum of 5, but 5 displayed on the board. They may play on longer because of stoppages and goal celebrations. Foul by Kraft on James in the Chelsea half of the pitch. Here comes Callum Wilson, and here comes Sean Longstaff. Bruno is the first player going off, and Alexander Isak, number 36, leaves the pitch as well.
Yeah, just run the clock down.
Alexander Isak to be replaced by number 9, Callum Wilson.
A rare outing for Sean Longstaff, whose future is unclear, but his importance to Newcastle United over the last few years not in any doubt. Chelsea free kick, headed on but headed out by Colwill. He went back up to supplement the attack and the forward effort. 2-0. The Chelsea away section wasn't full at the start of the match, but it's emptying now. I don't know if you can get a train from London to get here in time for a 12 o'clock kickoff on a Sunday morning. Here's Sancho, dispossessed by Murphy. Sancho wins it back. Enzo Fernandez away from Murphy into the corner. Palmer in the penalty area. Palmer's
what
cross.
a ball!
It's a great ball, isn't it? Across the 6-yard box, but nobody threw themselves at it. There was nobody gambling and trying to get on the end of it. Back to Caicedo. Wilson on for his 15th Premier League substitute appearance this season, closing down. 2-0 on BBC Radio Newcastle. We play on as we approach a 6th minute of additional time. Simon Logan's 80s versus 90s coming up next on BBC Radio Newcastle after the final whistle and a little bit of analysis from St James's Park as they prepare to celebrate a huge victory. Miley's won the ball in midfield. Caicedo with a headed challenge. Kraft with a clearance. Caicedo stayed down for Chelsea, who have the ball. Referee stopped the game. Potential head injury. Newcastle 2, Chelsea 0. You can't underestimate the significance of that second goal after the way this second half has played out.
Well, the second half you would have thought that we were the ones with 10 men because we were banked in, we couldn't get out. Chelsea upped the tempo of their performance in the first half. It was too slow. They upped it second half. Problem was they were down to 10 men. They had no outlet. That second goal is absolutely massive. I think it's our first shot in the second half, isn't it?
On target, yeah, I think so. Here's Cher with a header away from the edge of the penalty area after Chelsea restart the match. Kraft onto Barnes, headed up to Wilson. Nice layoff. Back to Barnes. Oh, almost took it between two players, but Chelsea make a block. We're into the 97th minute. We're playing on beyond the minimum 5. Longstaff brings the ball down in the box. Barnes gets away from blue shirts. Out to the right to Murphy. That's it. Newcastle United take another stride towards the Champions League.